So I have had several people reach out to me in private messages, people who support what I do, and they say, Brando, you sure are talking an awful lot about Trump these days. Can we change the subject? Can we talk about other things? And my response has always been, we're in an election year, and Donald Trump is out there dominating the news, and I really feel that he is the single greatest threat to American democracy, and I'm just trying to remind people as much as I can about what a threat he truly is, and I need everyone to keep their eye on the ball. It's that basically is it to me. This is the moment in time where we all have to keep our eye on the ball. Believe me, I mean it when I say it. I'm so sick and tired of talking about Donald Trump. I'm so sick and tired of seeing his name. And I'll give you all a little behind the scenes glimpse into Brando's life. When I'm sitting there editing my videos, I really hate hearing his voice. I honestly do. I sit there and I go, oh God. And I try to like trim the beginnings and end of the clips without having to dive too far in and listen to the clip over and over. And when I go back and watch my video to make sure I got it right, I listen to my parts to make sure I said everything I want to say, and I kind of listen to his to make sure I got it, because I heard it the first time and I don't really want to hear it again. Trust me, I don't like hearing about the guy. But as we cruise further into the election, one thing a whole lot of people are starting to realize is that this is not the same guy running in 2024 that ran back in 2016 or back in 2020. A lot of people are starting to realize that, and a lot of people who once voted for him are starting to see it for themselves. I want you to take a look at this clip.
I know who I'm not going to vote for.
Who are you?
I will not vote for Donald Trump. I can't associate myself with the Republican Party under Donald Trump. I agree wholeheartedly. The Trump we're seeing now is a completely different Trump than Trump of 2016 and even 2020. He's running a campaign strictly for revenge. I think he poses a clear threat to our democracy, our institution.
You had voted for Trump in the past, though.
Yes.
What was it that turned you away?
2016 Trump, 2020 Trump, 2024 Trump are very different people.
What's different about 2024 Trump?
A lot of people that have worked for him in the past say they won't come back. Obviously, January 6th happened. A lot of indictments have happened. And to be honest with you, I don't know that he wants my vote. Or those of us that supported Nikki Haley has been pretty clear.
You know, back in 2016, Donald Trump was a completely different candidate. And I've said before that I have a whole lot of friends who voted for him in 2016. A lot of them regret that vote now. A lot of them didn't vote for him in 2020. Some of them did, and then saw everything that unfolded on January 6th, and now they're saying, my God, I can't believe I voted for the guy twice. But he's not the same guy. Back in 2016, I think everybody, I really believe, and I've said this before, and some people kind of look at me strange when I say it, but I said to myself back then that Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders were kind of different sides of the same coin, in the sense that everybody just wanted to see something different in government. We had saw Bushes and Clintons in the White House our entire lives. We wanted to see something different. And I think some people gravitated toward Donald Trump and a lot of people gravitated toward Bernie. But I think they both, the one thing they did have in common was we want to see something different in government. Well, we had never seen anything like Donald Trump before. We had never seen someone who was an American businessman, reality show TV star with his reputation and his lifestyle. We had never seen anyone like that in the arena. And so I could see where people could be gravitated toward it, if for no other reason than they wanted to see a change. They wanted to shake things up. They kind of wanted to see what happened. Well, they sure as hell shook things up. They definitely did that. And then he runs the country for 4 years. He doesn't follow through on his promises. COVID hits, and we have that disaster. He totally bungles that. But he's oblivious to the fact. He's oblivious to the fact at that point as to everything he's done. And he thinks he's a shoo-in to win. But he goes out and starts telling people, hey, you know, the game's going to be rigged if I lose. The only way I lose is if the game is rigged. He planted those seeds early, and then when he lost, he began doubling down. Over the last couple of years, this guy has done nothing but double down even harder, and now it's just all a revenge candidacy. It's all about getting back at Joe Biden and getting back at the Democrats for everything that's been, you know, in his mind done against him. But I want you to take a look at this next clip. This is more voters who once voted for him saying, I could never do it again.
Anything but Trump.
That was your priority.
That's my priority.
Is that the biggest reason you supported Nikki Haley?
Yeah, I'd say.
Because of Donald Trump?
Yes. Yeah.
I would vote for Joe Biden over Donald Trump in a heartbeat.
Republican. I am.
What do you do in that event if he is the nominee and it's he and Joe Biden? What do you do?
I vote for Joe Biden.
Nikki Haley.
I think Donald Trump is a threat to the well-being of our country.
She drops out. Would you be disappointed if she endorsed Trump?
If she does, I'll vote Democrat. That's all there is to it.
It's important to me to keep Trump out of office again. Project 2025, I've read it, I've studied it. It's scary, it's frightening.
I've lived in a constitutional democracy all my life. I want to remain that way, and I want my grandchildren to grow up in one, not a dictatorship.
And I'm curious, over the last two elections, have you voted Trump in the past? Was it something where you voted for him, you trusted him, and you were disappointed?
Yes, I voted for him in 2016. I am a registered Republican, and I regretted that vote almost immediately.
So think about all the clips that I've shown you and all the clips that you've seen of Donald Trump saying things like he would terminate the Constitution if need be, how he would be a dictator on day one. You got to think about all the things that he said that he would do in a second term. It's all been about revenge, and the guy is full of anger and resentment and bitterness, and he wants to hammer back at what he calls the radical left and everything they've done to him. But there's something else we need to stop and think about here, folks. Not only is Donald Trump ready for revenge, and not only is he ready to get back at everything that's happened to him, but so are his followers, because he's been feeding them a steady diet of conspiracy theories and bullshit ever since he lost the election in 2020. And they have been doubling down. They have been getting more intense. They want to see these things happen. There's not been anything that we've shown them that's been a deal breaker for them. Nothing he said has been a deal breaker. The more extreme he goes, the more they pump their fist and get behind him. And that's something to think about. Those are the kind of people that's going to be supporting him if he were in a second term. And if he were to start doing the things he said he was going to do along the way, do you honestly think those people are going to have a voice of reason? Do you honestly think they're going to say, oh, well, wait a minute now, we got what we wanted, we got him reelected, but no, let's not execute our political opponents. Do you really think that they would do that? Or would they just be all bloodthirsty for revenge and let's get back at those evil radical Democrats? They have set and bought into these conspiracy theories ever since he lost the election. They were actually pumping them before the election ever started. And they bought into it even harder now. And he gets back in for a second term. He's definitely not going to be the guy that walked in 2016. The guy that walked in 2016 didn't have a clue what he was doing. And like the lady said, everybody that's worked with him has come out and said that. Everybody that's worked with him ain't going to come back and work with him again. Now, he was supposed to be the smart businessman who knew how to pick the best people, but everyone he picked said he was a lost ball in high weeds. Everyone he picked said he did not know what he was doing. Everyone he picked said it was a complete and total clusterfuck watching him try to figure it out. Well, he won't have to figure it out if he gets back in for a second time, because he's surrounding himself by people who will just say yes to him. He's not going for people who are experienced now in the field. He's not looking out there for the best who can do the job. He's looking for ones who will not question him and will do anything he says. And so he gets back in for a second term. He has a rabid base that is just bloodthirsty, dying to see him do all these things, because none of it's been a deal breaker so far. And he's going to surround himself with people who will just say yes to whatever he says. That's something to really stop and think about and put into perspective as we go into this election. And again, I know we talk about him a lot, but what we're really talking about here, folks, is democracy. A lot of people on the right gets mad at us for talking about that because they want to buy into this idea that we don't have one, but I'm sorry, we do, and we have to stand up and we have to fight for it. And we have a guy over here who's coming for it full throttle. But not only is he coming for it, he has an army of people behind him that are coming for it too that see nothing wrong about it. They don't realize that it could happen here. And they won't realize it until it affects them. They won't realize it until one day it comes down into their home and they realize, wait a minute, we chose this guy. We never thought he would do it to us. Yeah, there's a lot of people in history that said that same thing. We never thought he would do it to us. They'll do it to you.